I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, Mr. Duncan, you've got the wrong date. Well, the date is right, but the day of the week was wrong. Anyway, I've corrected it now, so everyone please calm down. Here we go. We are back together again, and I can't believe how beautiful the weather is today. I wish I was outside. I wish I was out in the countryside enjoying the lovely sunshine, but unfortunately I can't because I'm here with you right now. This is English Addict coming to you live from the birthplace of the English language, which just happens to be England. Ooh. Here we go again. We are back once more live, as live can be. Hi everybody. This is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you feeling happy? It's a lovely day here. We have sunshine. It's a little bit chilly. This morning we woke up to an early frost. It was very frosty, but it's not too bad. It looks nice. I find that sometimes with British weather. It looks nice from in the house. But when you step outside, quite often it is not as pleasant as it looks. So my name is Mr. Duncan, and I like English. You might say that I am one of those up there. I am an English addict. I love English so much. I hope one day they will allow us to marry the English language. I would be so proud to walk down the aisle with the English language, and maybe Mr. Steve could be my best man. Why not? Hello to you. Nice to see you here. I am live with you every Sunday, for those wondering. Sunday and Wednesday, 2 p.m. UK time is when I'm here with you. Thank you very much for joining me today. I had the most amazing sleep last night. I had a really good sleep. It isn't very often that I have a good sleep. Sometimes I'm restless. Do you find that sometimes you go to bed, even if you feel tired, you end up having a restless night? But last night I slept like a baby. Thank you also for those who have been asking about Mr. Steve. He is coming today. He is with us. We have the camera set up in the dining room. Let's have a look, shall we? So this is what we will have from Mr. Steve later on. So there it is. It looks a bit dull. I don't know why it's so dark in there. I will see if I can make it a little bit brighter. But Mr. Steve will be here a little bit later on. He's feeling much better. Thank you very much. He is getting well. I think he is over the worst of it. For those who don't know, Mr. Steve caught COVID a few days ago, so he has been rather under the weather, to say the least. And because of that, he's not been too well, to be honest. But last Wednesday he did appear on the live stream, and he is here today in his COVID corner. So Mr. Steve will be with us as usual at around about 2:30 today. So don't go away. I suppose I should also mention the live chat, because that is why we are here. The live chat is what it's all about. Yes, for those who don't realise, you can open the live chat and you can actually talk live here with other English addicts. It's true. I'm not joking. It is true. So hello to everyone. Who was first on today's live chat, I wonder? I don't actually know. Oh, very interesting. Hello, Beatrice. You are first on today's live chat. Congratulations. Congratulations to you, Beatrice, once again. you are first. In second place, of course, we have Vitas. Hello, Vitas. Nice to see you here as well. We also have Florence. We also have Mosen joining us again today. Thank you very much for joining me live on my live chat every single Sunday from 2 p.m. UK time. Can I also say hello to Paolo? Hello, Paolo. Nice to see you here as well. Oh, by the way, I have some news for you concerning my YouTube channel. I have been verified again. If you remember, a couple of years ago, I actually lost my verification, my little tick that comes after my name. But last week, YouTube, thank you once again, YouTube. You are so lovely. Sometimes. Thank you for verifying my YouTube channel again. So it is official. This is the only place where you will get Mr. Duncan. There are a lot of people pretending to be me. They are posting my lessons and they are saying that they are me, but they are not. If they don't look like this, it's not me. And if they are uploading my old videos and saying that they are me, I can assure you they are not. This is the only place where I hang out. I love hanging out. I don't know about you, but I love hanging out on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining me today. Yes, we have made it all the way to the end of another weekend and the first week of February. Yes, it is Sunday. Sunday is here again. And I have to say, it is lovely to be back with you. It is very nice to be here. Yes, Mr. Steve will be with you. Don't worry. For all those who are worried about where Mr. Steve is, he is here and he will be with us a little bit later on. Today we are talking about a certain topic for no particular reason. We are talking about up and float. I don't know why. Do you think there might be a reason why we are doing that? Well, maybe if you've been watching the news, you will know that over the USA, something has been floating around in the air. And guess what? We also have one here as well. It's been floating around above my house. In fact, I think it's coming over the house right now. Oh my goodness. What is it? What is it? It's a strange object. Very strange. I don't know what that was. I will bring a little sharp instrument like a needle or a pin and I will pop the balloon a little bit later on. I don't know what that was all about. So maybe you've seen that on the news. Maybe you've seen it somewhere on the internet. A lot of people talking about it. I have never known so many people to become so obsessed with a balloon, to be honest. That's not the only thing that's been happening as well. We've had, last week we also had a comet come over the house as well. Did you see the comet come over? I think I've got one somewhere here as well. Where is it? Oh, here we go. So we've also had a comet fly right past the Earth. Whoop. Like that, you see. Everything is happening above the planet at the moment. Oh, I thought it was coming again then. Hello to Angelis, the angel. Hello, my angel. It is nice to see you here today. Maybe today you were not first on the live chat. It doesn't matter. As long as you are here and as long as you are okay. That is the important thing. I think so. Hello to who else is here? Gosia is here today. Thank you for joining me. We also have Irene. We also have, Luis Mendez is here today. Hello, Luis. Nice to see you here. Tomek says, Mr. Duncan, is it on the news or in the news? Well, to be honest with you, you could use both. I saw something on the news last night. So that means maybe you are watching the television, you saw it on the news. It was being reported. You saw it with your eyes. It is something you see visually. But also, we can talk generally about things that are in the news, things that are being reported generally. So things that are being talked about, and of course at the moment there are many things that people are talking about in the news. You might watch television and you might see something on the news. So there are some slight differences, but you can use both. Who else is here today? Oh, I feel so excited. Do you know why? Do you know why I feel excited? Well, 2 reasons. First of all, I had a lovely sleep last night. I slept like a baby. And the other reason is I am doing something in the studio. What if I said to you, how would you feel if I said, I am making some new lessons? Mr. Duncan, is it possible? Could it be happening? Yes, in 2023, I have started to make some new lessons. So I've been busy here in the studio, in fact, doing that. So to say that my week has been busy is an understatement. First of all, I've been taking care of Mr. Steve, keeping him happy and relaxed because he's had COVID. I've also been busy writing new lessons, filming new lessons, editing new lessons, and also I'm here doing this as well. So as you can probably imagine, I am quite busy at the moment. Hello to Claudia. Hello, Claudia. Nice to see you back as well. I suppose I should say what I often say to Claudia. I hope you are having a good day, and I suppose also I should ask,
what's cooking, Claudia? What have you got in the pot? What's cooking, Claudia? Is it something spicy and hot? Is it something salty or not? Oh, Claudia, what is in the pot?
What is in the pot today? Claudia, please let us know on the live chat. It would be ever so nice. Mr. Steve, by the way, even though he is feeling unwell, last night Mr. Steve was in the kitchen doing what he does best, and that was making a lovely meal. He made the most amazing meal last night. Now, we have, over the past month, and it has been 1 month, by the way, my new health regime, 1 month. 1 month tomorrow since I started my new healthy lifestyle. I have cut out a lot of bad food in my diet, I have to say. So everything in my diet is a little more healthy. I'm taking more exercise, I'm walking a lot, and I have lost some weight. However, Mr. Steve last night made the most delicious lentil curry. It was spicy, it had lots of flavour, and it was delicious. Now, normally I don't like eating too much of that type of food for various reasons, but it was delicious. So if Mr. Steve is watching at the moment, and I have a feeling he might be, he's making some notes, you see, to prepare himself. But can I say, Mr. Steve, that was absolutely gorgeous. That meal last night was c'est magnifique. It was beautiful. Because normally Mr. Steve's lentil curry doesn't have much flavour. It's true. But last night he got it perfect. He did it perfectly. I don't know what he was doing last night, but it was the most delicious meal I've had in a long time. In fact, I described Mr. Steve's lentil curry in the past as being bland. It's not a word you ever use, by the way, when you are talking about someone's cooking. If you ever use the word bland to describe someone's cooking, it is always negative. So bland is something that is tasteless. It has no flavour. It leaves no impression. It is bland. You might also use the word insipid as well. So something that is bland, something that has no flavour, or maybe something that has very little colour can be described as bland. It is uninteresting, unappealing, not very interesting at all, in fact. Claudia, what are you cooking today? Oh, today, once again, Claudia is cooking, or should I say baking, some bread in the oven. Very nice. You know, that's one of the things I would love to be able to do. I would love to be able to make my own bread. But of course, it takes so much time and so much effort. And I just can't be bothered. It's much easier to go to the shop and buy some. There is a type of bread that I want to eat more of, but it's very hard to get hold of, and that is sourdough. Have you heard of sourdough bread? Sourdough. And apparently it is a specific type of bread that is left for a very long time. So quite often in modern bread making, normally they rush the process. They do it very fast. They do it quickly. So you don't get all of the flavour and all of the taste of the bread. However, with sourdough bread, they allow all of the fermentation to take place over a longer period of time. However, because of that, sourdough bread is normally expensive, but it is much healthier for you. It is much better than the processed bread that you buy in the supermarket. So it is very hard to actually get sourdough bread, but it does taste rather nice. Can I say hello to Caro Santos, who says, Mr. Duncan, I love your channel. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. Yes, Mr. Steve's cooking last night was amazing. We often make this particular gesture. We go, it was beautiful. It was delicious. It really was so nice. So Steve is in COVID corner today. Unfortunately, he's still feeling a little unwell. We have been testing him. Yesterday he took a COVID test and it is still positive, but I think it is slowly going away. The only thing I can't believe is that I haven't caught it. I don't know. All I can say is my antibodies must be very strong, powerful antibodies. I think so. Hello also to, I want to say hello to some more people because sometimes I forget, you see, because I'm in a hurry. Can I say hello to Florence? Can I say hello to Lydia? Hello to Lydia. It's nice to see you here today. Also, I want to say a very special thank you to Francesca Altieri. Hello, Francesca. I hope you are watching today. And can I say thank you very much for your lovely donation that you sent a couple of days ago. Thank you, and I do appreciate it. Don't forget, all of the donations go towards my work. So everything I do here to maintain the studio and to run everything smoothly. I do it all on my own. So thank you to Francesca. And if you want to make a donation as well, you can. You are more than welcome to do so. Everything you give, everything you send will be used to make this, to make sure this goes smoothly. Which sometimes it does. It actually does sometimes. Today we are looking at words and phrases connected to floating and what's the other one? Up, being up. There are many ways of expressing up. There are many ways of using the word up. And also there are many ways of saying float. Ooh. I can promise you now that was not my stomach. It wasn't, definitely. Are you ready for Mr. Steve? He will be here in a few moments. We are trying something different today with Mr. Steve because last week we had some technical problems, but I'm hoping today there will be no technical problems. So please, can you keep your fingers crossed that we don't have any technical problems today? Would you like to have a look at Mr. Steve's crazy plant? Steve's plant has gone absolutely crazy. Here it is. Would you like to see it? Here it is. Look at that. It has gone absolutely crazy. Now, I can never remember the name of this plant, but Mr. Steve knows what it's called. But look at that. It has gone absolutely crazy. In fact, it's huge. It's starting to take over the kitchen window. And you can see now there is a little flower growing in the middle. It has come right up. In fact, Mr. Steve said that it looks like a tiger's dingle-dangle. I don't know how Mr. Steve knows about tigers' dingle-dangles, but apparently Mr. Steve said that particular flower looks like a tiger's dingle-dangle. I don't know about you, but I don't know about those sorts of things. We will see Mr. Steve in a few moments. The live chat is very busy. Saturino is here. Hello, Saturino. Nice to see you back. Ricardo is here as well. Hello, Ricardo. Nice to see you joining us today as well. So many people joining in with a live chat. As I said, there are new lessons coming up. I have been busy in the studio over the past 2 or 3 days making new lessons, and I will start posting them next week. Oh, Mr. Duncan. So look out for those. They will hopefully pop up on your notifications. I hope they will. Tomek is talking about the balloon. Well, we have one here, you see, going over the house. You might see it today, once or twice. But yes, the one that was going over the United States has now been shot down. It does seem as if they are maybe blowing everything out of proportion. Have you ever heard of that phrase? If you blow something out of proportion, it means you make something seem more important or more serious than it actually is. You blow something out of proportion. It is overblown. Something that people are talking about is being exaggerated. So a lot of people have got really nervous about this. And of course, as usual, we have lots of conspiracy theories surrounding the mystery balloon that would appear to have floated all the way from China. By the way, that's a very long way. That is a long way to float through the sky. I think so. Mr. Steve is on his way. I hope you will enjoy it. Mr. Steve is feeling much better and he will be here in a few moments. But first, I suppose we will take a little break and we will prepare Mr. Steve because he is on his way. Don't click that button. Don't click away. Stay here. Yes, we are going to go somewhere. We're going to go on holiday. Trust me. I don't know when it will be, but hopefully it will be soon. He is on his way in a moment. Stand by. Mr. Steve is in COVID corner. He will be with us in a few moments from now. The problem with doing this is there is always something to remember and think of. So let me just put the live chat on for Mr. Steve. He's already whispering in my ear. He's saying, Mr. Duncan, where is the live chat? Okay, then I will set that up for Mr. Steve now. You have no idea how many things I have to think of when I'm doing this. It's a little bit crazy, to say the least. And now that we have lots of ads playing, oh dear me. Go away, ads. There we go. Okay, I will give this to Mr. Steve in a moment when he's on camera. So here he comes. Now, I hope this works because we are trying something different today. First of all, Mr. Steve, can you hear me?
I can. I can hear you loud and clear, Mr. Duncan.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I think so. Keep speaking.
Yes, Mr. Duncan, here we are on Sunday, once again,
Okay.
live across the world.
Okay, here we go. And here he comes. Mr. Steve is now right here.
Hello everyone. Here I am in COVID corner, as Mr. Duncan has said. Now, I'm for those of you that don't know, I've unfortunately caught COVID again last week. Again, the rule is don't mix with other people in large groups.
Yes, well, that's what I say.
Time now. But anyway, I am feeling much better, and I did a test yesterday, and it's a very faint line now, Mr. Duncan, on the test. So I think by tomorrow, I will have expelled the vile bug from my system. And I will be able to appear on the live streams again without having to be in this remote way. Mind you, having said that, you haven't caught it, Mr. Duncan, which is very good. because I didn't want you to catch it, because I didn't want to have to look after you in any way, shape or form. I'm only joking. But no, it's very good. You didn't catch it, and we didn't even isolate at all. I mean, we've isolated for this because I just, I don't want to be standing up for 2 hours. It's too uncomfortable, when I'm getting better. But luckily you didn't get it, and we didn't isolate, which just shows something actually, because I had a fairly full-on infection. So I'm surprised you didn't get it. So I think sometimes it's not always passed on. We just don't know all the full details of how this happens. But long story short, I'm much better, and I'm glad to be here. I was here on Wednesday, but only briefly.
Yes. You seem to have all of your energy back now.
Well, I was out in the garden, Mr. Duncan, today. I did a little bit in the garden. I thought I'm going to push myself, because I think that helps with the recovery. Just do a little bit of gardening, a little bit of weeding, because there's those sneaky weeds, even though it's still winter. When there's a little bit of warm weather, those weeds, they're very sneaky. They start growing, and then all of a sudden you go out there in spring and you don't notice. So I've been getting rid of a load of weeds, Mr. Duncan, that are already starting to grow in the garden.
Well, it does feel like spring today.
It does. All the bulbs are coming up. We've got snowdrops in the garden. And of course, I saw that you've shown the amaryllis plant.
It's gone crazy.
It's gone crazy. I've never known a plant to grow so fast. I think only bamboo grows quicker than this amaryllis plant.
It's a mad plant.
It's absolutely mad. I'm going to have to go and show the neighbour that gave it to me for Christmas just how well it's doing. I mean, it must have grown a centimetre a day.
There it is.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Anyway, I'm hoping it has a red flower, a great big red flower. If it's white, I'm going to be bitterly disappointed.
Oh dear.
Because I don't like white flowers. I think they're boring. So I'm hoping it's going to be pink or red or something like that, Mr. Duncan.
We will have to wait and see.
Yes.
So today we have a lot of things to talk about, and we are all, can I just say again, Steve, we are all so relieved to see you looking well, and you have got your colour back. You look super duper. I'm not sure if I like it or not. I was getting used to Mr. Steve being quiet and unwell, to be honest.
Yes. I must admit, I said this on Wednesday, if you want to avoid COVID, avoid choirs.
Yeah.
Because I've caught it now from going to my choir groups. Because I think everyone's singing and talking, and if somebody's got COVID, then you're going to pick it up.
Well, I can't believe I didn't catch it.
I know. I don't know why. So you must have a super strong immune system this time, because you did catch it last time. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just weak. But then I've always picked up every cold flu bug going all my life. I've always been susceptible to that. Don't know why. It's probably just the shape of my throat or something.
Steve.
But never mind. Enough about me, Mr. Duncan.
Steve, no, well, I'm going to talk about you again. I remember when we first met, I realised one thing about Mr. Steve, and that is he catches colds very easily. And I suppose one of the reasons was the job that you were doing, because you were hanging around sick people quite a lot. So maybe that's one of the reasons. But I did realise very early on that Mr. Steve is a person who might be getting colds and flu and all sorts of other fevers quite often. And
I used to as a child. I always did as a child. And some years I remember, not going back that long ago, I would get like 4 colds a year. And I don't think I was run down or anything, but I just always catch them. I don't know why. But never found out the reason how to prevent them. I've tried every alternative therapy there is. If it's out there, I've tried it. None of them work. So I think I just have to accept that I've got to stay away from people if I want to avoid colds and flu bugs.
So you're going to become like me.
Everybody has a weak point in their system somewhere.
I think so.
And that just happens to be mine. I suppose I shouldn't complain too much. It could be a lot worse.
Everyone has their own Achilles heel, a weakness, I suppose.
Yes.
Unless, of course, it is actually your Achilles heel.
My Achilles heel. There's a good phrase, Mr. Duncan, for us to tell people about.
Well, the other thing I was going to mention very briefly was the use of words to do with catching fevers or being able to catch things easily. And some people are. They are very, the word I'm looking for is susceptible.
Yes.
Ooh, there is a good word. Susceptible. If a person is susceptible to colds or fever, maybe they catch them quite often. And of course, we do have seasons as well, don't we, Steve? We have seasons.
Yes.
So
cold, damp weather, as we all know, is
Yes.
Is a good environment for cold and flu bugs to be transmitted.
So is it still the flu season now?
Yes. Yes, flu season starts sort of November, December time, the peak, and then goes on till probably end of February, beginning of March, until spring. I mean, you can get flu any time of the year, but the vast majority of the cases tend to be in this country, in the northern hemisphere, tend to be December, January time. Yes, I did have the flu jab, and I think that does help. But I definitely haven't. It definitely was COVID. But anyway, enough about me, Mr. Duncan. Excuse me. I'm coughing away. Yes.
You might be hearing a bit of that today because Mr. Steve is still under the weather. He hasn't completely recovered. As I mentioned last night, I did thank you earlier. I don't know if you heard me, Steve, but I did compliment your wonderful cooking last night. You made the most amazing lentil curry. It was absolutely gorgeous.
I think after many, many weeks and months of trial and error, I finally found the best way to make it. So I will stick to that particular recipe in future. And talking of cooking, I noticed that Claudia's cooking bread.
Yeah.
Which I used to love cooking when I was younger. I used to cook it for my mum when I was, a teenager or younger. I can't remember when I started cooking bread, but I used to love cooking bread.
We normally say baking.
Baking, yes. I used to love I used to love kneading the dough and watching the bread rise with the yeast. You sort of stick it in the airing cupboard and let it rise up, and then knead it again, and then let it rise up again, and then cook it. You cannot beat home baked bread. It's absolutely delicious.
Well, as I mentioned to you last week, not on the live stream, but away from the live stream, there is a type of bread called sourdough bread. But it's very hard to get hold of because apparently it is prepared over a very long period of time. So all of the yeast is allowed to ferment more. And because of that, it is actually better for you. It is actually better for your body. Less starch, apparently.
Right.
But unfortunately, it's not easy to come by.
Yes, it became very popular in the lockdowns. A lot of people were making it at home. It became a bit of a thing, a bit of a fad during the lockdowns, because during the lockdowns everyone was doing a lot more cooking at home. You couldn't buy flour. Everyone was doing their own home cooking, a lot more of it. And sourdough became this sort of thing that loads of people were cooking at home. I mean, we didn't do it. I never did cook bread in the end, but I could have had a go. But yes, it's all right. Sourdough, it's fine.
It just takes too long to make.
Well, that's the trouble with, if you've got the time to bake bread, fine. Otherwise, you probably need to get yourself one of those bread makers. But then if you buy a bread maker, then if you don't use it, it's just a waste of money and a large bit of equipment that just sits in the kitchen cupboard somewhere not being used.
It just takes too much time to make. I can't stand around waiting for bread to rise.
Well, I think if you've got a bread maker, I think that's good, but it's quite a commitment. I would like to get one, actually. I've often thought about getting one because you can experiment with all different types of bread, but it's £100 odd, and then the danger is that you buy one and then you never use it, and then or you use it a few times and you become bored with it, and then you stick it in the cupboard, and then you end up going out buying bread. Because we have seen something in the news this week about how shop bought bread is very bad for you.
Yes, well, this is it. This is literally what I mentioned earlier, because it's got too much of the raw starch. It isn't allowed to ferment. And of course, brown bread is another one that a lot of people like. You can have bread with lots of grain, or maybe lots of wheat or wheat germ. So I suppose there are many different types of bread, but I would love to eat more of sourdough bread. So we'll try and find if someone does it. Maybe we can ask our next door neighbour who happens to own a bakery. Can you believe it? One of our neighbours who moved to us, it was last year or the year before, he actually owns a bakery. And I keep saying to Steve, we must become very friendly with him because we might get free bread.
Yes, well, exactly. We need to get free bread, because that would be maybe I could do something for him and he could do something for me.
Oh.
In return, I've got to think of something. I've got to think of something to get that free bread from the neighbour. But Claudia's not the only one cooking, because Angelise or Angels, I'm not sure how you pronounce your name, is cooking empanadas. Empanadas. Now, I'm not sure what they are, but they sound nice.
I don't know. I've never heard,
Mexican or something like that.
Never heard of it.
Empanadas. But yes, it sounds almost Mexican sort of, type of food. So maybe you could tell us what that is, because whatever it is, it sounds delicious, and it's going to make me hungry. My appetite is coming back, by the way.
It sounds more Italian to me.
I think it's like enchiladas. I think it might be sort of Mexican-y in origin, but maybe you could tell us what that is, Angelise.
Very nice.
People are sort of hinting that about going to Paris, Mr. Duncan. I noticed a few comments. Tomek was saying that Rotterdam to Paris is only 2 hours on a train. Yes, we've got to find out, haven't we, the ideal time to go. Now, we want to go sort of end of May, June time, but we've got to fix a date when we're going to go, and then ask, is this something that other people could link into?
Yes. Well, the main problem is at the moment as well is we're living in these crazy times where everyone keeps going on strike. So we don't know who is going to go on strike next, because quite often they don't give you much warning. So the worst scenario, the worst possible scenario would be us arranging something, and then the same weekend or the same week everyone decides to go on strike, and then we have to call it all off. So that is the main problem. That is the one worry that is now at the back of my mind. But we will try. We are determined. It will happen. It might not happen this year, but we are hoping that it will. That's all.
No, we've got to plan for it. If you don't plan for it, it won't happen.
Yes.
So we've got to say, we can't say, oh, will it happen? Oh, it might happen. We've got to pick a date and say, this is when we're going. And then give a few alternative dates, because people might be working or might be difficult to get time off. People need to be able to plan in advance. So I think we've got to get on to this, Mr. Duncan, fairly quickly and say, this is when we're planning to come, this weekend or this weekend, which would be better, because we're very flexible. I'm not working now, so I'm very flexible. It's got to be over a weekend. It's got to be when there are no school holidays, because we don't want to be travelling when all the kids are off school. We don't want public holidays, so we've got to find out when there are public holidays, particularly in France, and we've got to link in with that, because it probably doesn't matter so much in the UK when there's public holidays. Mind you, on the other hand, if there's going to be a strike, they're going to do it on a public holiday. So that's why we need to avoid public holidays.
Exactly.
To avoid strikes.
Yes. So
the strikes in this country, the strikes in France.
yeah.
So if we avoid a public holiday, we should be safe. And then we've got to decide, are we going to go on Eurostar or are we going to fly? Or maybe we could walk
Yeah.
and get a sponsored walk to go to Paris.
No
or maybe
way.
a tandem. We could hire a tandem
Okay,
bike.
Steve. This is starting to sound exhausting, to be honest.
Yes, we're not going to do that.
No, there's no way I'm doing that. I can tell you now.
So we've
our
got to
new-
find out about public holidays
Okay,
in
yes.
France.
You just literally said that.
I know, I'm just repeating it.
Anyway, what I was going to mention is my regime of being healthy is now 1 month old. 1 month I've been doing it, and I have to say, Steve, and I know I really put a lot of effort into this. I will be honest with you. I'm eating porridge in the morning. I'm exercising. Hopefully we will have a walk after we've done this today as well, because the weather is so nice outside. So we will see what happens. But it's all because of Mr. Steve as well, you see, encouraging me as well. So sometimes it's very important to do that. Today we are looking at floating and being up. Can you guess why we're doing that, Mr. Steve?
Is it anything to do with that so-called spy balloon that has been floating over certain American states, which has been all over the news? And we're not quite sure as to the reason why it's there, but some people seem to think that the Chinese have done it deliberately, but it sort of backfired a bit because they were supposed to have a visit, weren't they, from the Secretary of State, and then it's all sort of gone a bit wrong. That's had to be cancelled. And
Mr. Plinkin.
yeah, relationships between China and America are at an all-time low.
I always call him Mr. Plinkin instead of Mr. Blinkin.
He's quite like him. He seems very measured, very sensible.
Yeah.
I like Mr. Blinken. I think he looks like somebody you can really trust.
His name sounds like a character from a kids' TV show, Mr. Blinkin.
Whenever you see him being interviewed, he just seems like the sort of person you want as a Secretary of State. Very calm, very measured, very diplomatic. So you just look at him and you just think, yeah, I trust that guy.
Anyway, Steve, I've heard that there is a Chinese spy satellite attached to a hot air balloon, and it's actually going over our house right now.
Really?
In fact, if you look above you, you might see it going over right now. Oh my goodness, it's coming. Here it is, Steve.
Mr. Duncan.
Oh.
I don't know if I'm going the right way. Look at that. Well,
Oh.
I'm not surprised because there is so much to spy on and so much intelligence that could be gathered from watching your live stream, Mr. Duncan.
Yes, it wouldn't surprise me if people are spying on me now. There's somebody maybe lurking in the bushes at the back of the house, watching.
Empanada is stuffed pasta from Central America.
Oh,
Look at that.
sounds very nice.
Yeah, so obviously Angeles has gone off to eat these.
So it's not bread then. It's pasta.
Pasta.
Oh.
Yeah, stuffed pasta. Oh, it sounds lovely. Alexander says you can't avoid strikes if you're in France.
No.
That's true.
That is true.
Same now in the UK. It's back to sort of 1970s levels of strikes.
Does anyone actually go to work in France? Because they always seem to be on strike more than we are.
Yes, Bamboo for You says, I've just got here, but why aren't we together? Well, you'll have to look at the comments earlier. It's because I've still got COVID, and so we're sort of trying not to be too close to each other in case I pass it on, although it's probably unlikely now. Plus also, it's just a bit easier for me to sit down as I'm recovering. I need to recover.
Yeah, I think you're enjoying this.
Yes, I don't. Well, I don't mind standing up, but I normally get achy legs, so maybe we can return back to this sort of format. Just relax, Mr. Duncan. I could fall asleep here.
Please don't.
I won't. Are we going to have the word game today, Mr. Duncan?
Not today, because I didn't have time to set it up, and also it's a bit more complicated because you're in the other room. So there is a lot of stuff that then I have to do. But
let's promise that we'll do it for next week.
We'll do it next week. Hopefully everything will be more normal, whatever normal is. I mean, what is normal?
Lewis says that be careful. That balloon could take away your YouTube golden button.
Yes. Maybe they're spying on me. They want to know what we're really doing. Maybe this whole YouTube channel is just a cover for something more salacious. Oh, Mr. Duncan, salacious. Something salacious, something going on in the background that maybe people would be offended by or upset by. Something salacious, something mean, something unsavoury, maybe. Oh, now, Steve, you were telling me about your latest, your way of passing the time away during the day. And apparently what Mr. Steve likes to do, it's something he's done over the past 2 or 3 weeks. He's started replying to news stories on the internet. So we all do it. We all like to have a look at the news stories on the internet. Maybe there are reports in your local area that you want to keep up with. But Steve has started writing comments underneath these news stories. And sometimes, I don't know why you do it, Steve, but one of these days someone is going to knock on the door and they're going to say, "Here, are you the guy that wrote that comment?" And then you will have to stand there and explain yourself. So I think a lot of people do this nowadays, don't they, though?
Yes, because I've got time on my hands, because I'm not working now. I've got time on my hands, as they say. I've got lots of spare time. I've become a bit hooked on reading news stories, like just become hooked on the news, reading stories and then reacting to them, because in a lot of news stories now posted on the internet, there is a comment section where people have put comments. It's not like not TikTok. What's that thing that other way you people make lots of comments about what's
Twitter.
going on? Pardon,
Twitter.
Mr. Duncan?
Twitter.
Twitter, yes. It's probably similar to Twitter, but it's the news story itself, and it has a comment section at the top. And I've got into this habit of reading a news story, becoming excited about it in some way and making comments. And I've got a bit out of control with it, so I've got to be careful, because I'm not being abusive or anything like that. I'm just putting my point of view across. And I have noticed quite a lot of reaction from people where I often take the opposite view that other people are taking in their comment section. So I'm going to have to be careful that I don't bite off more than I can chew and say something that might come back to bite me. If you say something that might come back to bite you, you say something and make a comment about something, you think that it's not going to have any repercussions, but then suddenly at some point somebody knocks on your door and punches you in the face or something like that.
It could happen.
So yes, exactly. So it's like people make comments, don't they, from 10 years ago or when they were teenagers on websites or on social media somewhere. Then they become famous, and then somebody finds a tweet or a post from somewhere years ago that they made, and then they try and use that to destroy them in the media.
Yes.
But of course, things you might have said when you were a teenager, you might have grown out of that way of thinking now, and you might have a completely different way of thinking. But then the people have to grovelly grovel and take back what they said and apologise,
Yes,
which
you
I
have
think
to-
is often looks very unseemly.
You have to beg for forgiveness.
Yes, they have to beg for forgiveness because there's, about instead of standing up and saying, well, yeah, that's what I said at the time, I don't mean it now. People get so upset now about everything. It's
They
just
do.
ridiculous. Everyone makes offhanded comments or might have said things in conversations to people years ago that they don't necessarily believe now. But of course, they're long forgotten. But if you're a famous person and everything you do on social media now is there forever, isn't it?
Well, you can delete it.
You can delete it, but if you don't, it's there forever.
Yes.
So it's very difficult, isn't it, I think, to say anything now.
I think it is very, very easy to do that, though, if you're sitting behind a keyboard and no one knows who you are. I think that is one of the things that does happen a lot these days. We call these people keyboard warriors, and they have lots of courage when they're behind the keyboard, but in person, if you met them in the street, they wouldn't express any of those views because they know in the real world, or as we call it now, IRL, that's what people say. They instead of saying in the real world, they just abbreviate it to IRL.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In the real world.
Tomek says that's why he deletes all his comments.
In real life.
To cover his tracks.
Well,
So
we've noticed, this is something we've noticed a lot about Tomek. Because as we've said before, Steve, we know very little about all of those people out there watching us. So we don't know who could be watching us. It could be anyone. Anyone. There might be a famous celebrity watching us. So maybe Tomek is actually someone who's really famous and he wants to make sure that he doesn't leave any trail.
Well, we'll find out when we all meet up in Paris.
Yes. It would be amazing if it turned out that Tomek is a famous film star or maybe actor. Wouldn't that be amazing?
From Poland, yes. Lewis is getting excited, of course, about us all meeting up and is suggesting that we need to go to Montmartre, I think you pronounce it.
Montmartre,
which is, I think is definitely the nicest place in Paris I've been to.
Yes. The Mountain of the Saints.
Yes, it's lovely. The church at the top, Abbey, Cathedral, whatever it's called at the top, is beautiful. And then, of course, you've got all those lovely cafes and the art influence. You can have your portrait painted. That's my favourite part of Paris.
Yes, a lot of the artists used to live up there. Renoir, Monet, they were all hanging around there.
They
were.
Course, so
the strange thing is, Steve, that particular area in Paris used to be an area of ill repute. That's where all the ladies of the night used to hang around.
Well, I think it's very fitting that we'll all be going then.
Yes. So you can meet me on a street corner in Paris, and then we can arrange the fee afterwards.
Exactly.
So today, Steve, moving on, we are talking about today's subject. We have a subject which is one that, maybe some people like the subject, maybe they don't, but I hope you'll stick around anyway. We are looking at words and phrases connected to up and floating. You might be surprised to find out just how many words and phrases there are connected to those things, Steve. By the way, can I ask you a question, Steve?
Yes.
Do you do it with your left hand or your right hand?
I can see this is a rabbit hole. I've got to be careful not to go down. Are you talking about...
No, just answer the question. Do you do it with your left hand or right hand?
It depends. Usually my right.
So, and when do you do it? Do you do it during the day or at night?
Well, I don't know how to answer that, Mr. Duncan. Both.
Both. You do it during the day and the night, and also you use your right hand.
Yes.
Have you done it recently?
I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Duncan. I'm assuming it's eating. I'm going to assume it's something like eating cereal. So I'm going to say this morning.
Oh, okay then. This morning, you did it this morning.
Yes.
So you did it this morning with your right hand.
Yes, I was holding the spoon and eating my cereal with my right hand.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking that you're talking about, Mr. Duncan.
Oh, it might not be though. Would you say that you are good at it?
Well, I'm good at eating, yes. I don't miss my mouth.
There's no answer to that.
I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Duncan.
Well, what am I talking about? What do you think I'm talking about, Steve?
I don't know, holding a spoon, holding a knife.
You use your right hand. You do it during the day and night. You've done it. You did
wiping your bottom?
You did it this morning.
Is it wiping your bottom?
No, it isn't wiping your bottom. How dirty.
Okay, because that's different in different cultures, isn't it?
Mr. Steve, that's disgusting. How could you say that? Oh,
Well,
of course I'm talking about writing with a pen. Writing with a pen. Because very few people, apparently these days, very few people use one of these. They very rarely write anything. And if they do, they only do it occasionally when they have to. Mm-hmm. So most people nowadays, and this is something I've mentioned in the past, I think this is one of those dying actions, something that we used to do all the time, but writing with a pen. Now, I don't know about you, Steve, but whenever I do it, I find it very hard.
yes.
I find it hard. I find it really weird when I have to write, especially if I'm writing something and it's a very long piece, maybe something I want to remind myself of, maybe some ideas that I have for a future lesson. But I find it really hard to actually write. It feels weird. And yet as a child at school, that's all we ever did.
I know. If I have to write anything now, when I look at the writing afterwards, it looks like the writing of a 5-year-old.
Yes.
And it makes your fingers ache.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe teachers. Do teachers still write a lot? I presume children do. If they have, do children still write essays at school? Or do they type it on a computer now? I don't know.
This is the strange thing, though. The other day, you were talking about classrooms, and you said that they don't have blackboards anymore. They don't have chalkboards. But I don't think they even have whiteboards anymore. I think everything is projected using a computer and a projector. So I think everything now is shown on the wall or on a special surface for the lesson to be projected onto. So I think many schools now actually use computers in their daily life when they are actually teaching in class. I think so.
Well, yes, we don't. I mean, certainly writing has reduced in most people's lives. I mean, when I first started work, all reports were written on paper. I used to have to write sales reports on paper and send them through. It was, I mean, yes, I hardly write now. I probably do write something every day.
Yes.
Because I write, if I've got to memorize a script or the lines from a song, one of the techniques I found that works very well is to physically write it down.
Yes.
Several times. So yes. I do that because that helps with the memory retention.
Well, actually, that almost comes on to what I want to mention about learning English, because this does connect to learning the English language. So what I always say, and anyone who is finding it difficult to remember words or phrases, or maybe they just want to improve their grammar, one of the best ways of doing it is to write. Maybe if you find a favourite passage from a book, or maybe an essay that you enjoy, write it down, copy it. And what you find is when you write with a pen, when you use a pen, you are actually using your eyes and your brain in a rather unique way. It's unique because you are using your hand to do one thing, you are looking as you do it, and also your brain is having to concentrate on what it is you are writing. And those three things combined create a very unique moment of time for your brain. It helps things to go into your mind or into your brain and stay there.
Definitely. If I want to remember the lines of a song, or I said any lines from dialogue, then if I write it, just physically write it down it doesn't go in. If I just keep reading it, it goes in very slowly. If I literally write it out, and apparently the rule is if you do it 3 times, if you write out something 3 times, it will stay in your brain, because somehow that connection between writing it down and somehow you get a different understanding as well. I mean, I can look at the words of a song and sing them from the music or say the lines, but when you write them out, suddenly you get a different understanding of what it's trying to say. Because sometimes it's easy to read something and not really concentrate on what you're reading. You can just read the words very easily, but you can't necessarily get into your brain what it actually means. But if you write it down, that's what they're trying to say. Somehow there's a different connection, as you say, going on in the brain.
I'm always interested in people that do calligraphy. I'm always a bit jealous of people who can write nicely. Because my handwriting, to be honest, is atrocious. I always, if there's one thing my teacher used to always complain about in school, especially my early years, was my awful handwriting. It really did look as if a spider had run across the page. So I'm always envious. I'm slightly jealous of people who can write very well. I think sometimes your handwriting, Steve, you would have been a great doctor. I think so. I think you would have been an amazing doctor, because I can never read your handwriting.
I can't read it either. A lot of people are saying that they do write every day and they do enjoy writing every day. Harnor Verk says, I write every day with a pen. Lots of people have said the same thing. Olga says that they do. So it's not necessarily dying out. Tomek said he writes down lists of things to do, like a to-do list. That's what I used to do that a lot at work, and even when I'm not working now, if you write things down, you're more likely to do them. If you have a to-do list or a list of goals for that day, you're far more likely to do them if you write them down. It's part of that retention.
Yes, I think so. But there is a good exercise. So if you want to improve your word power or your ability to remember words, a very good thing to do is to write them down, physically do it. Instead of just typing with a computer, it isn't the same thing. If you write it, it is using your brain in a very special way. And I think it is a good way of improving your word power, your grammar, and I suppose also your handwriting as well.
Francesca says, I write notes from your past lessons.
Oh.
Yes, that's it, sort of key learning points. And if you write it down, the information's going to be retained in your brain much better than if you just watch something. I mean, they do say that, don't they? The experts in sort of retention of information say that the more senses you can get involved, the more likely you are to retain it. So visual, hearing, and then also writing it down is another one to help your brain retain information or have some impact. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that they still write a lot and they enjoy doing it. And Olga says that she writes a to-do list as well. That's probably the only thing she writes, but at least she is doing it. And Christina says, I'm always writing down from your lessons from your lessons as well. So that's another person who's taking notes from the lesson, which is presumably why. I mean, if you watch a television program, if I watch a television program that's trying to give me information, you don't retain that much of it, because it's only the visual and you're getting, isn't it? You're only getting the visual and the hearing, but you're not getting that connection, which is that writing it down. That slowly. I don't know how it works, but it does.
But it's a very good tip for those who are having difficulty remembering words and also learning grammar. Listening, of course, is another one. A lot of people these days are choosing, instead of reading, they are choosing to listen to audiobooks. And I suppose that is one of the strengths of doing this, listening to this, because you are listening to conversation taking place. And also it's live as well. So this is not prepared. In fact, Mr. Steve sat down today in front of that camera and he had no idea what we were actually going to talk about. And yet here we are at 3:15 on a Sunday afternoon. So today's topic, Steve, we are going to have a look in a moment at words and phrases connected to, well, we're looking at things that are up and also things that sometimes float. Apparently, Steve, we had a hot mic. I left the microphone open. We were just admiring the little bird in the garden at the moment. There is a lovely bird in the garden, and it is a regular visitor. Unfortunately, it's injured itself. So Steve was really surprised to see it, and you may have heard Steve say, "Oh, look."
Well, let's just, Mr. Duncan, that could have been very embarrassing. We could have said something that we didn't want other people to hear.
Yes, I'm glad we didn't say anything rude.
Well, I had a suspicion that you might not have switched my microphone down.
Oh, I see.
So, well, not a suspicion, but it's a good job we didn't say anything bad about people on the live stream, isn't it?
Well, we never do anyway. But that's the thing.
We do sometimes. We won't mention any names.
As I always say, what you see is what you get. This is it.
But, certain people sometimes say things that hurt us, offend us, and, we could have said something off camera, so to speak. I mean, how many politicians have been caught out in the past thinking that their microphones were switched off?
Yes, they call it a hot mic.
And they say things that get them into a lot of trouble. We could have come back and everyone could have left because we could have said something nasty about somebody, but we didn't.
No, we wouldn't do that anyway.
Exactly. We love everybody on the live chat.
So today we are looking at words and phrases connected to up, and we will do that right now. And you may notice something on the screen as well. Oh, there it is, look. So up and float, words and phrases. And Mr. Steve is also on the screen as well, so you can join in. So I hope you can see me clearly. I
can see it.
Good. Just checking.
Because I've got a screen here. Mr. Duncan has very carefully set up screens. I've got the screens. I've got the live chat.
Yes.
I can see everything.
That's it.
And no, we didn't badmouth anybody.
We didn't say anything rude about anyone.
I mean, we normally do. As soon as the microphone's off, we normally bad-mouthing everybody. No, we're joking. We're not, of course. We love you all.
As I said, if I have something to say about someone, I will say it anyway. Here we go then, Steve. So we're looking at some words and phrases, just a little bit of fun. We don't have enough fun in the world.
Up and float.
We don't have enough fun in the world at the moment. So here we go. So here's one, Steve. Do you want to read it out?
To go up in the world.
Ooh, yes.
To go up in the world. So, yes, a lot of people want to go up in the world. It means that you move to a higher level in society. Or in your job, maybe. You go up in the world. You might get a promotion to become a manager. And people will say, "Ooh, you've gone up in the world." So you're now moving in different circles. People that might be very ambitious, people who are successful. You're moving up in the world. You could marry into a rich family or marry into royalty or something like that, and people might say, "Oh, you've gone up in the world," because the perception is that you are now moving in different circles, in higher circles. But yes, it's a phrase that's often used, and most people aspire, don't they, to do better in their lives.
Yes.
And move up in the world, or move to a higher level in society,
yes.
a higher level in their job.
I suppose the word I want to use is status.
Yes, status.
A person's status goes up. So maybe it is promotion at work. Maybe you get promoted in your job. Maybe you are just the supervisor. And then maybe they promote you. You go up in the world. Your status goes up. You are promoted. Maybe you become the assistant manager or something like that. Very nice.
Yes, somebody that exactly. Because then suddenly you probably, because you move to a different. I mean, if you were, say you suddenly became a manager or a director at your work. You've been working for years to do that. Well, we've all seen people who we've worked with on our level that has moved into management, and then then your contact with that person becomes less and less because they haven't got time. They can't spend all that time with you anymore.
They can't. That's true.
Yes, and then plus they also might think, some people might think that they're somehow better than you now that they've got a promotion, or that they are now moving in, and this is this lovely new world they're in, and they don't want to talk to people now. They see everybody else as below them, and that can happen, of course. It's sad when that happens, but of course it does. You often lose friends because they suddenly go into management or become a director, and then they suddenly think that they're better than everybody else. But yes, to move up in the world.
I suppose the other one, of course, is the one we haven't mentioned, is if you start earning more money as well. So maybe your lifestyle will change. Maybe you can move to a bigger house or have a larger car or maybe 2 cars. So moving up in the world can also refer to your social status as well. So a good phrase there, and it is used quite a lot. As you said, Steve, quite often it's used sarcastically. Oh, you're going up in the world. Oh, you're moving up in the world. Oh.
Yes, particularly if you're suddenly driving an obviously better car.
Yes.
So say you were driving around in a Volkswagen Golf for many years, and then suddenly you're in, I don't know, a top-end Audi,
yes,
or Mercedes or BMW. Not that there's anything wrong with a Volkswagen Golf,
yes.
and a lot of people will, even if they've got lots of money, will carry on driving a car like that. But if suddenly you were driving a Volkswagen Golf or a Ford Escort Focus one day, and then suddenly you came home in, I don't know, an S-Class Mercedes, people will say to, oh, you're going up in the world, because because obviously to afford a much better car like that, then you must have got a promotion or a better job or something, and you will also feel as though you are going up in the world yourself. You will feel as though you are achieving something. I mean, if that's your goal in life, fine, and if you get it, brilliant. But yes, people will often associate, particularly a car, with as a status symbol, as going up in the world. Like if you move house, sometimes just getting a slightly better car or just a new car of the same sort of level. So say you had a 6-year-old Volkswagen Golf. I'm not picking on Volkswagen Golfs, but the Golf is like an average car, isn't it? It's
anyway, I think that's the point made.
Yes.
There.
But if you just get a new Golf, then well, the point I'm making is here: if you just buy a new Golf or a new car, and that same people that could be keeping up appearances. You're just trying, but then if you get something that's substantially better, then you have obviously done something and you're moving up in the world.
Yes.
To a new level of status.
Anyway, we'll move on. Here's another one, Steve. Oh, Steve, are you up for it?
I'm always up for it, Mr. Duncan.
Really?
Yeah. Depends on the time of the month, of course. Are you up for it? Are you willing to do something?
Yes.
Yes, you might say that. You said that to me this morning, Mr. Duncan. You haven't been feeling very. You said to me, or you're not sure whether I was going to be able to appear on the live stream today because I haven't been very well. Are you up for it, Mr. Steve? Well, you didn't call me Mr. Steve, but are you up for it? Yes, we're having a meetup in Paris with all our dear friends from Mr. Duncan's live stream. Are you up for it? Who is up for it?
Yes. So are you willing to do that particular thing? Are you up for it?
Well, I'm not saying that as a question.
No, we don't think you are.
That's an example of the use of the phrase, are you up for it? I'm going to have a party next week. Do you want to come? Are you up for it? Let's go away for the weekend and invite our friends. We'll call them up and say, are you up for it?
Okay.
Do you want to do it?
Good. Of course, the other one that you just said, are you up to it? Up to it. Do you feel up to it? So that means, are you able to do it? Do you feel well enough? Do you feel strong enough? Are you up for it? Or are you up to it?
Yes.
So can you do it? Do you think you're up to it? Can you do it? Are you able to do it? So to be willing to do something is up for it. You are up for something. If you feel as if you can do something, you are up to it. I feel up to it. Yes, I have my strength back. I am up to it.
Yes,
I can do it.
Or somebody might say to you, do you want to run a marathon? Are you up to it? In other words, are you fit enough to be able to do it? You might be up for it.
Yes.
In other words, you might want to do it, but are you up to it? Have you got the ability to actually do it? Are you fit enough?
Yes.
You might be going for a promotion at work, and you might say you might say, "Oh, I want to go for that job," but are you up to it? In other words, have you got the skills and qualifications required to be able to do it? You might be up for it. In other words, you might want to do it. If you're up for something, that means you want to do it. But have you got the skills, the abilities to do it? Are you up to it? So if you want to become a manager, you've got to go on all sorts of training programs to be able to do that job well, or to get to the next level. So if you're right there. There is a subtle difference between those two phrases.
Yes.
Being up for something means you want to do it, Being up to something means that you've got the skills necessary to do it.
Or you feel as if you can do it. Anyway, Steve, moving on. We've got a few of these to look at over the next half an hour. Oh, here's another one, Steve. And yes, you can do this if you want.
To be upfront about something. I was going to say the other thing is, are you up for it? Is often used in sort of relationships as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Are you up for it?
Okay, we're doing this one, Steve.
Yeah, okay. Be upfront about something, to be open and honest. To be upfront about something. It means you tell everybody, you tell the person that you're talking to everything that they need to know. You're not holding anything back. You're not hiding any information. Isn't that right, Mr. Duncan?
that is right. Yes.
You've just thrown these at me. I haven't prepared anything because I didn't know you were going to do this. To be upfront about something.
Yes.
So
well, it's actually the definition's on the screen.
Yes, I know, but I'm just talking around. I've said that already. Yeah, to be open and honest about something.
So yes.
Now I'll be completely upfront with you. That is a phrase that people often use.
Yes, you're not hiding anything.
A salesperson might say that. If you're going to buy a car from a second-hand car dealer, he might say, well, look, I'll be upfront with you. This car has done 100,000 miles.
Yes, I do love how all of your analogies include cars. Well, I have to say.
Yes. I'll be upfront. Sometimes it's used in a bit of a fake way. You might say to somebody might be telling you something, and you might say, are you being completely upfront with me? In other words, you're saying to them, have you told me everything I need to know about this particular thing that you're telling me?
You might find it hard to find people. You might find it difficult to find someone who is willing to be upfront. A lot of people accuse politicians of not being upfront. So maybe they make promises and in the long run or in the future they won't keep to those promises. So you're not being completely open and completely honest about your intentions as well.
Yes, you're not being completely upfront. You're holding some information back. Or if you are being very upfront with somebody, you're telling them everything, even if some of those things that you're saying might be unpalatable, or maybe they don't want to hear those things, but you're telling them anyway, so as not to hide anything.
Can I say hello to Krishanu? Hello, Krishanu, who says, "What are you up to? What you up to? What are you up to?" Is that correct English? Well, in British English, we often say that. What you up to? What you up to? What you up to?
Or what you up to? Or what's up?
Or what are you up to? So you are asking a person, what are they doing? What are you doing? What are you up to?
I often say that in a text to friends. If you haven't spoken to a friend for a while, you might say, hi, what are you up to? Or what's going on?
Yeah.
It's just a general, well, said that way, what are you up to? It's just a sort of a general conversation starter. And then somebody might reply, well, I'm busy at work. My girlfriend's not being very nice to me. My mother's not very well. Just a general sort of conversation piece.
That's it.
But if you say it, you can say it in a different way. What are you up to? Can't you? If you find somebody doing something suspicious.
Oh.
So say you came home and you found somebody sort of lurking around your house, or maybe trying to open the front door, you might shout at them, what are you up to?
Yes.
So it can be used in a challenging way as well. Or maybe you walk into your office and somebody's going through your files. What are you up to? Or you find a child doing something, I don't know, smoking weed at the back of the in a wood or something. Or a teacher might say, "What are you up to?" So yes,
I have to say you have very adventurous days.
Yes, if somebody's doing something suspicious, you can shout at them like that. What are you up to?
What are you up to?
What are you up to? What do you think
Yes.
you're doing?
So you think that other person is holding a secret or keeping something from you. Maybe they're doing something behind your back and you don't know what it is, and they might ask, what are you up to?
Yes. So say, for example, I went out and didn't come back until 3 o'clock in the morning. Because say I've gone to a rehearsal and I'm normally back for sort of 10:30 or something, but I don't come back till 2:30 in the morning. You might be very suspicious, and I might come into the house and you might say, Mr. Steve, what are you up to? What have you been up to? Where have you been? The implication that I've been, seeing somebody on the side.
Oh. As if
So-
that would ever happen.
Yes.
As if anyone would want you.
Or here's another way of putting it, as Tomek has said, kids are up to no good. Up to no good.
Oh, yes.
That's a good phrase.
Yes.
It means that they're doing bad things.
That's a good one.
They're not doing good things, which of course children are always doing.
So we are looking at words and phrases connected to up and float. Here's another one, Steve. To be one up on someone. If you are one up on a person, this means that you have a slight advantage over a person. You are slightly better, or maybe you are slightly further ahead in something than the other person. And again, this is very similar to maybe something happening in a social situation where one person is trying to get ahead of someone else. So you might be one up on someone. It means you have a slight advantage. You are slightly further ahead, or maybe you have something better than someone else. So it's an interesting phrase, to be one up. Some people try, don't they, Steve? They try to be one up on another person.
Yes, particularly in the workplace, there might be a lot of competition, particularly if you're in sales. That was the phrase we used to use a lot. You might say to, I want to get one up on him. I want to get one up on him. So it means that you want to get some better sales or something. In a competitive environment, you often want to get one up on somebody. I mean, it can be used can be not very nice as well. It can be used in a not very nice way. You might use methods to get one up on somebody that might be questionable methods.
Yes.
So you might lie about somebody in order to give a perception that you're better than that person, to try and get one up on them.
I think human nature is often like that,
Yes.
where people try to score points over another person. So we use that phrase figuratively to mean that you are trying to beat that other person in some way. You are trying to be better than them. You want to be one up on another person. I like that one. That's a good one. Moving on. Oh, now this is quite a good one, actually. This is one that we were almost talking about this earlier. Something that is up in the air. Something that has not been decided or approved. So I suppose you can think of a good example of that, Steve.
Yes, something that's not been something that you're not sure what the outcome's going to be. It's up in the air. So at the moment, us all meeting up in Paris is up in the air. We haven't made any fixed plans yet. It's sort of floating around. But when we get some definite plans, we'll be able to say that something's definitely happening. So are you going on holiday? I'm not sure. It's up in the air at the moment. It depends. If you say up in the air, it means that the outcome depends on a number of things happening, a number of outcomes coming together. So you might say, are you going on holiday? Oh, it's up in the air at the moment. My mother's not very well. I'm not sure if I can get the time off work. So it depends on a number of things coming together for that particular thing that you want to do to happen.
Yes.
Are we going to have a recession this year? it's up in the air.
Mm.
Nobody really knows. It may happen, it may not.
It depends in that situation. It depends on the circumstances.
That's right. It depends on if something's up in the air. It means it's not decided upon because a number of factors have to happen for that particular outcome to either go favourably or not favourably.
So Lewis has just said a trip to Paris. The trip to Paris that we are hoping to do, Mr. Steve and myself, we are hoping to go to Paris and meet up with you. But at the moment it is up in the air. We haven't made any firm decision. We haven't made any decisions as to when we will do it.
I think the decision to go has been made, but the exact circumstances around when it's exactly going to happen is going to. Now, Tomek's retracted his statement, but I've already read it. So for the record, Tomek has said that, well, we're going anyway, whether you're coming or not.
Yes. Well, I suppose that's one
So
way
it's
of looking.
not up in the air.
Yes. Well, that's one way of looking at it. So even if we're not there, I suppose other people could still meet up. So even if we don't make it because everyone decides to go on strike. So we will see what happens. It is all up in the air.
Yes. Will we ever, says Nitram says, well, will we ever go to Mars? It's up in the air. Yes, it's undecided.
Yes.
Or not yet approved. So Vitas said something else. Does what are you up to? Is that the same as what did you think? Not quite. Don't think that's quite the same. No.
What are you up to means what are you doing? And the other one, Steve?
What did you think?
What did you think? What did you think means what is your opinion on that particular thing? What did you think of the show last night? What did you think of the performance that we went to see? Was it good or not? So what did you think? What do you think is really asking for a person's opinion on something.
Whereas what are you up to is asking, well, what are you doing? It's a non-specific question. It's non-specific. Or what are you up to is an accusation that you're doing something wrong.
Yes.
So they are different.
So,
but thanks for the question. You know, this is what we want to know, how to clarify the understanding for you.
Good. So here's another one, Steve. Oh, now this is something we can all understand this one. I think this is one of the saddest things that can happen in a person's life, where you give up. You give up. And we can use this in many ways: to quit, to lose hope, or, of course, to surrender. You can give up. You can give yourself up to the police. So you are allowing the police to come and arrest you, or to quit. Maybe you're trying to do something, Steve. Maybe you are trying to become a really good teacher on YouTube, but sadly the YouTube algorithms are against you.
That's a very specific example, Mr. Duncan.
Yes. It may or may not concern me. It may or may not concern me. And then, of course, you become so down and depressed about it. You decide to give up. I am giving up. I will give up doing my YouTube lessons. I will give them up. To quit, to lose hope. Maybe you decide that you don't want to do it anymore because you feel that it isn't worth it. So to give up. And I'm sure we've all done this, haven't we, Steve?
We've all done this. Sometimes you try to do something for a long time. You put a lot of effort in and it might not be the right time. You might be able to do it, in 5 years' time, but you just think, I'm just going to give up. Sometimes the right thing to do is to give up, because you can keep on doing something and trying to do something. And if it's not working, then you probably need to give up, at least for a period of time, and reassess what you're doing, and maybe try again later on in the future. For example, well, I mean, there's loads of examples for giving up, isn't there? You might want to form a relationship with a particular person. You might be, you might have attractions to a certain person, but you keep trying, but they keep rejecting you, and in the end, you just say, "Oh, I just give up. What's the point?"
Yes.
And sometimes giving up isn't negative. Sometimes giving up is a realization that, your efforts aren't going to be worth.
And also,
it's not worth you doing something.
Also,
sometimes
Steve,
you have to look at reality and decide whether, giving up isn't necessarily a negative thing. It can be that you just realise that something's never going to work.
Yeah.
So there's no point in you carrying on putting all this effort in all the time.
Also, to give up something because it's bad for you.
Yes.
You give up. You give up smoking. You give up drinking. You give up having lots of... No, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, so giving up can be positive.
Yes. So give up can be...
I'm giving up alcohol for January is a common one.
It can be positive.
Yeah, it's a positive. You give up food for Lent. It can be positive. It doesn't necessarily have to be negative. It's often seen as negative. Oh, I give up. But sometimes you have to give up because sometimes you put a lot of effort in and you don't get anywhere, and you can't carry on putting that effort in. And in fact, if you carry on doing it, you could be seen as a bit deranged.
Yes.
I mean, if you're pursuing somebody that you're attracted to for months and years and they're still rejecting you, then at some point you have to give up because your whole life will disappear in this disappointment.
As Einstein once said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Yes.
And that is literally insanity. So sometimes you have to know when to give up. You have to know the moment where you should quit.
Sometimes if you really believe in something and in your heart you know something can work, sometimes you can give up just at the wrong point, just when you've nearly got to success. So some things you might, you just need to keep, reflecting on what you're doing, and maybe you need to talk to other people and get an assessment of what they think as well. Because sometimes you can get bogged down in your own thinking and you can't really see clearly. You can't see the wood for the trees, as we say. You can't make a very good analysis of your own situation. Sometimes you need other people to help you out with that.
Yes. Yes, I think so. I think there are moments in your life where it is good, it is the right thing to give up. But my advice is always, if you are trying to learn something or improve your life in some way, then don't give up, even if that thing seems sometimes difficult or too hard. But don't give up, please.
We won't give up planning the meeting in Paris, Francesca. We will not give up.
Yes.
I was only thinking about that this week in my sort of fevered state that we need to fix a date, or at least give some alternative dates, and then you've got something to work to. If you don't fix a date, then it won't happen.
You're right.
Yes.
So here's another one, Steve.
I'm not going to read that out, Mr. Be up your own arse.
Yes. A person.
Yes, if you're up your own arse, you're arrogant.
Yes.
And self-obsessed.
Yeah. We all know someone like this, don't we?
Oh, yes.
Yes. I think you have a few of your colleagues in your amateur dramatic society who are definitely up their own arses.
Yes, it means they're basically always talking about themselves, aren't they?
They're
a bit self-obsessed. They're people that like to show off about themselves and talk about themselves a lot. Where does that phrase come from, Mr. Duncan? Is it?
Well, I think it's just it's figurative. But
we better explain what arse is, hadn't we?
Well, arse is your bum.
Yes,
I think most people know that it's either arse in British English or ass in American English. But it's a person who's so obsessed with themselves that imagine their head is pushed up their own bottom. And that's it, you see.
They love themselves so much they'd be even willing to do that.
Yes.
I think is where that phrase comes from, because you wouldn't willingly go near that part of your body normally. But if you say that somebody's up their own arse, it means they love themselves so much they're even willing to stick their own head up their own bottom.
That's it. They're so self-obsessed.
Yes, that's right.
So I think that's a good one, even though it's a bit rude. But people do say that, don't they,
They do.
Steve?
It's a very common phrase. If somebody is constantly talking about themselves and say, well, people often will say, trying to give you advice or something. Oh no, I think you're wrong, and what you need to do is this. What I always do is, and they're constantly talking about themselves all the time and saying how wonderful they are.
They're arrogant.
They're arrogant, yes, and self-obsessed.
Here's another one, Steve.
Not anybody on this channel, of course.
Definitely not, and definitely not me. Here's another one. Now this is one that I'm sure you have some suggestions for, Steve, already. To put
up with something. Yes, to put up with something.
Yeah.
To be forced to endure or tolerate something. Yes, you could put up with a partner that you don't like for years. You could put up with a job you don't like because you've got to earn money. You can put up with abuse from somebody. It means it's something that you endure something for whatever reason, but you decide that you're going to endure it, to put up with it. You might get to a point when you think enough's enough, and you do something about it. But quite often you might just be willing to put up with something because you're getting other things which are beneficial. So putting up with a job you don't like is a good example, because you don't like the job, you might not like your boss or the customers or there's something you don't, or your work colleagues, but you're getting money to pay for your bills. So you put up with the stuff you don't like in order to get the stuff you want.
Yes.
So you want the money to pay for your bills, but so you're willing to put up with some bad work practices or something you don't like about work. The wages is enough compensation for the bad things that you don't like. So you put up with it.
Yes.
That's one example.
So you're in a position where you are being forced to endure or tolerate something. Maybe a neighbour, Steve.
Oh, a neighbour, yes.
Oh, maybe there was a neighbour who has, I don't know, just random suggestion here. Maybe they have a dog that barks quite a lot. Maybe they have something that they do that's really annoying, and you have to put up with it. You have to put up with something. Of course, some people don't want to put up with it. They will object. They will protest. They will say, we will not put up with your bad behaviour. So that means we don't want to endure it. We don't want to tolerate it. In fact, we won't.
So that phrase can be used in two ways. You might be willing to put up with certain things to get something else, but then when you've had enough, you then say, I'm not putting up with this anymore. I'm leaving you.
Yes.
I'm not talking to you, Mr. Duncan, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I'm not putting up with your womanizing anymore. I'm leaving you. You might have put up with it for years because maybe your husband was, providing a good life for you with the money and everything, and maybe you were bringing up children, but then eventually you shout out, I'm not putting up with this behaviour any longer, I'm leaving you, and you pack your bags and go. Or it could be the job. It could be the other way around, of course. I'm not just saying that men cheat on their partners. It happens the other way around as well, as we all know. But your boss might be constantly getting on your nerves at work, or you could have somebody at work that's always being rude to you, and you've had enough, and eventually you say, I'm not putting up with this behaviour anymore, I'm going to report you to HR. So it can be used in both ways. You put up with something and you don't say anything, or you then say, no, I'm not going to put up with this anymore.
To endure or tolerate
and you
something.
decide you're not going to tolerate it anymore.
Here we go, Steve. Here's another one. We only have 8 minutes. 8 minutes left. Here's one. I'm sure you know this one, Steve.
To float a company, a business. Yes. To allow shares to be bought in a company. Yes. So often you might start a business, and you've set it up yourself, like you, Mr. Duncan. But you might start a business that is manufacturing something. Could be anything, and it's just owned and run by you and maybe a couple of other people, and it becomes more and more successful, and then you decide that you want to sell shares in that company, and you want to float it on the stock market, and that makes you a lot of money, and then you can retire with your millions. Yes, it just means that a company is now you're going to sell shares, and it's going to be listed on the stock market. Which is obviously something we're going to do with your channel one day. We're going to sell it, float it, and ask everybody to buy shares in it.
I think it's fair to say that you need a certain amount of success before you do that. But it's interesting in this country how some of the main... Now, I suppose we think of electricity and the railways and the rail tracks that have to be maintained, how some of those companies over the years have been sold off to private companies, but then they've been bought again by the government and been nationalised. So there are quite a few that seem to swap backwards and forwards, because I remember way back, was it in the 1980s when they sold... Was it British Telecom? Didn't they?
Yes.
They made it private, and you could buy shares in British Telecom, the telephone company.
Yes, it was run by the government. It was a nationalised company.
Well, it used to belong to the post office, didn't it?
Yes, that's right. And then So then they sold it off. The government sold it off. It was very exciting at the time. It was the first company that had been, because Margaret Thatcher, wasn't it? It was during Margaret Thatcher's time.
It was.
When she was selling off a lot of these companies that were costing the government a lot of money to run. And the idea was that it would force competition in the market and make everything more efficient. And of course, a lot of people... I bought some British Telecom shares. Everybody did. Everyone was quite excited that you could buy these shares, and then they would all go up in value, and you could make a lot of money out of them. I think if you, you can float publicly owned companies, and governments have done a lot of that over the last few decades. But yeah, it can be just a private company that you've run for years that then becomes very successful, and you sell the shares, and then you use that money to make Often it's used because a company wants to grow, it wants to get bigger, and the way to get funds to grow bigger, you might want to build a new facility somewhere, is to sell these shares. Lots of thousands of people buy shares in the company. You use that money to grow the company, and then you give out a dividend to the people that own the shares, so that they then get money for helping you out, so to speak. Another
one they sold off was gas as well. Remember
British
that when they sold gas?
That got sold off.
That was heavily publicised, wasn't it? I remember that they used to have a campaign on television. If you tell Sid. Don't forget to tell Sid about the gas.
That's right. Yes,
the gas shares when they were doing that. Anyway, we have another one coming up. So to float a company or float a business, to allow shares to be bought in a company. Oh, you are floating on a cloud. A lot of people say this, Steve, when they watch us on the live stream. They say
they do.
we are all floating on a cloud because it's so lovely, the experience.
That's right, Mr. Duncan. You're feeling so... I feel like I'm floating on a cloud. You're feeling just very happy, overjoyed. Something's happened that's made you feel really nice, and you feel like all the weight of the world, all the problems have been taken away from you, and you're just floating in this lovely way, and you just feel very good. Maybe when you go on holiday, you might feel like you're floating in a cloud because all your troubles have been taken away.
Yes.
Or somebody might sweep you off your feet and ask you out. The person that you've admired for a long time, loved from afar, suddenly asks you out on a date, and you feel like you're floating on a cloud. It's an emotional response, isn't it, to something pleasant that's happened.
That's it. If you are in love, for example.
It's a feeling. It can be love. Quite often it is. But it might be something else. You know, you might have got a promotion, or you might have won a lot of money or something like that. But yes, it's quite often used in relationships. You're floating on a cloud.
Oh, I like that one. If something floats your boat, does something float your boat? To derive pleasure from a certain activity, maybe something you enjoy doing, maybe it's something that other people don't normally enjoy doing, but something that floats your boat is something that gives that person enjoyment or pleasure. So maybe a certain pastime, maybe a certain thing that you like doing in a particular situation. We can say that it floats your boat. It means that it is giving pleasure, something you get pleasure or excitement from, an activity, quite often, something you are actually doing.
Yes, we sometimes use that phrase, don't we? Does it float your boat? I mean, that's quite a specific phrase that people will use. It's often used in relationships, isn't it? I think it's often used... anything.
Anything.
Yes. Does it
Anything
float your
you
boat?
enjoy
Yes,
doing.
you can use that. Do you want to go horse riding? Does that float your boat?
Yes.
Do you want to go skydiving? Does that float your boat? Do you want to do it? Yes, you can. It's a phrase you can use.
It's always something that brings pleasure or excitement.
Or excitement, yes.
Here's another one. So maybe I remember from my time working in retail many years ago, we always used to have a cash float. A cash float. So cash float refers to an actual thing, and it's normally the reserve money that is kept in a cash register. So when you open up your shop in the morning, you normally have to have some money in your cash register already, ready to give change or exchange whatever they're giving you to pay for an item. So quite often you will have to have a small amount of money in your cash register before you start trading in the morning. It's reserved money that is kept in a cash register, and there would always be the same amount. The float in your cash register would quite often be the same amount every day.
So you need that, don't you? Because if somebody comes into the shop to buy something and you want to give them change, you have to have this float in the till. Otherwise, if there was nothing in there, you wouldn't be able to give them any change. Can I just address a question from Francesca Bovi?
Okay.
Who asks me a question. I often use the phrase, that's it. That's it. And you are correct. It does mean exactly. It's the same as exactly. That's it. I'm saying, yes, you've got it right. That's it. So thank you for that question, because that is, they are interchangeable phrases. Exactly. That's it. Yeah. It means that you agree with somebody on something. So yeah, that's a good question, Francesca. Thank you for that.
That's very good. I like that one. So we have I think we have one more, and then we're going.
Oh, Inaki says, your live streams float my boat.
Good.
every time I watch them. But yeah, it's often used, float my boat as well, is often used in, let's say, certain, if you ask somebody about certain sexual practices,
Okay.
you might say, does that float your boat? We won't go into the exact things, but, you know,
Please.
because it's a way of sort of addressing the problem without being too direct about it,
Yes.
addressing the issue.
Yes. Something that you get a lot of pleasure from might be something that floats your boat. Here's the
Yes. Do you want to do you want to have an orgy? Does that float your boat?
Okay, Steve. That's
Well,
enough.
I'm just giving an example.
Okay, then
Yeah.
we've got one more before we get taken off. To float by. Oh, maybe a person comes in the room and they walk past you, but they walk past very casually. They do it in a certain way. They float by. They float by. It almost appears as if that person is floating on air, quite often with a woman or a young lady. She moves by. She floats by.
Yes, in a very poised and almost professional sort of moving with grace.
To do something casually.
Yes.
Yes, you move by. You do something with leisurely time. You float by. Something goes by gently, or with, as you said, grace. I like that word. So you casually move, as if you are floating.
Yes, you're not obviously, you're just sort of moving in a nice, serene, graceful way. Ballerinas probably walk like that, don't they?
Yes, they just glide by. And sometimes when I remember when women used to wear very long dresses or things that went almost down to the floor, when they were moving, it almost looked as if they were floating. Looks like they are actually floating. Very nice, very good. Anyway, we are about to disappear, Steve, because that is it.
Are we going to float off now, Mr. Duncan?
It is time to sign off, as they say. So it's almost time for us to go. Back on Wednesday, there is a new English lesson appearing as well. I've been very busy, Mr. Steve.
I've heard you. I haven't seen much of you this week. It's been useful because we haven't been isolating, but it's given you the opportunity to sit in your little, your rather average-sized studio,
Okay.
and your generously sized studio, and create some new lessons.
Yes. Well, you know what they say. Size is not important. It's how you use it.
That's true.
Anyway,
Well,
Steve, I'm back on Wednesday. Hopefully Steve will be here as well, unless, of course, he's had a relapse.
I won't be having a relapse.
Good.
My voice is almost back to normal.
Good.
I did some singing last night. That went well. So,
Good.
yeah, all I want is a negative test tomorrow. Then I can start going back to rehearsal. So I might do one later tonight, actually. Anyway, lovely to be here. Lovely to see you all. Hope that you've enjoyed today's lesson. I hope it's floated your boat. And I look forward to seeing you all again on Wednesday.
Yes, and as I said, on behalf of everyone here today, we're all glad to see that you are once again fighting fit.
And it is. Somebody asked me earlier, what was it like? Was it like flu? Well, the first time I had it, it was definitely like flu. This time it was more like just a very bad cold. And it's only lasted a week, so good. I think I'm quite pleased about that. So
Yes.
Thank you for asking, and again, hopefully see you all on Wednesday.
Thank you, Mr. Steve. And that was Mr. Steve. Bye. That is all we have time for today. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. It's been interesting. I hope something that we said or something that we did brought a smile to your face. It's time to go away. It's time to disappear. And I will see you very soon. In fact, on Wednesday, I'm back with you. And also, I will be with you not live, but recorded as well. Look out for my new English lessons that will be posted over the next few weeks. That is it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you on Wednesday from 2 p.m. UK time. This is Mr. Duncan on behalf of Mr. Steve, who is now feeling much better, saying thanks for watching, see you soon, enjoy the rest of your day, and of course, until the next time we meet here, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Ta-ta for now.